Friends, welcome again in this video series of famous quotations and lines. These videos are important for lovers of literature. Let's start. Literature is news that says news. This line is written by Ezra Pound in his book ABC of Reading, published in 1934. Next, and as imagination bodies forth the forms of things unknown, the poet's pen turns them to shapes and gives to airy nothing a local habitation and a name. This line is written by William Shakespeare in his drama A Midsummer Night's Dream. Next, to produce a mighty book, you must choose a mighty theme. This line is written by Herman Melville, an American writer. Next, a blank piece of paper is God's way of telling us how hard it to be God. This line is written by Sidney Sheldon. Next, not that the story need be long, but it will take a long while to make it short. This line is written by Henry David Thoreau. Next, poetry creates the myth. The prose writer draws its portrait. This line is written by Jean-Paul Sartre. Next, behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. This line is taken from The Picture of Dorian Gray, published in 1890, a novel by Oscar Wilde. Next, if he loved with all the powers of his puny being, he couldn't love as much in 80 years as I could in a day. This line is taken from Wuthering Heights, a novel published in 1847, written by Emily Bronte. Next,
but Paris
was a very old city, and we were young, and nothing was simple there, not even poverty, nor sudden money, nor the moonlight, nor right and wrong, nor the breathing of someone who lay beside you in the moonlight. This line is taken from A Movable Feast, published in 1964, written by Ernest Hemingway. Life is to be lived, not controlled, and humanity is owned by continuing to play in face of certain defeat. This line is taken from Invisible Man, published in 1952, a novel written by Ralph Ellison. Another book, The Invisible Man, published in 1897. Both the books having the same name. And latter book is a science fiction novel by H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells' book originally serialized in Parsons Weekly in 1897. Parsons Weekly is a magazine, and serially H.G. Wells' book The Invisible Man was published. Next, I loved her against reason, against promise, against peace, against hope, against happiness, against all discouragement that could be. This line is taken from the novel Great Expectations, published in 1860, written by Charles Dickens. Next, not all those who wander are lost. This line is taken from The Lord of the Rings, published in 1954, a book written by J.R.R. Tolkien. The story of this book began as a sequel to Tolkien's 1937 fantasy novel, The Hobbit, and that Hobbit was published in 1937. And as a sequel to The Hobbit, Lord of the Ring was published in 1954. Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you start missing everybody. This line is taken from The Catcher in the Rye, a novel published in 1951. And this novel, Catcher in the Rye, was written by J.D. Salinger, an American writer. The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. This line is taken from the novel Infinite Jest, published in 1996. written by David Foster Wallace. He stepped down, trying not to look long at her, as if she were the sun. Yet he saw her like the sun, even without looking. This line is taken from Anna Karenina, a novel written by Leo Tolstoy, published in 1878. I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. This line is taken from Alice in Wonderland, a book written by Lewis Carroll, published in 1865. Real courage is when you know you are licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and see it through no matter what. This line is taken from To Kill a Mockingbird, a novel published in 1960 by Harper Lee, an American writer. It is always important to know when something has reached its end. Closing circles, shutting doors, finishing chapters. It doesn't matter what we call it. What matters is to live in the past those moments in life that are over. This line is taken from The Zahir, published in 2005, written by Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian writer. And the rest is rust and stardust. This line is taken from Lolita, a novel published in 1955, written by Vladimir Nabokov. We are all fools in love. This line is taken from Pride and Prejudice, published in 1813, a novel by Jane Austen. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. This line is taken from The Great Gatsby, a novel published in 1925, written by F. Scott Fitzgerald, an American writer. She was not doing a thing that I could see, except standing there, leaning on the balcony railing, holding the universe together. This line is taken from a short story, A Girl I Knew, published in 1948. A Girl I Knew was written by J.D. Salinger. I took a deep breath and listened to the old brag of my heart. I am, I am, I am. This line is taken from a novel, The Bell Jar, published in 1963. And this is the only novel by Sylvia Plath, an American writer. It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. This line is taken from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, written by J.K. Rowling. I wondered if that was how forgiveness budded, not with the fanfare of Epiphany, but with pain gathering its things, packing up and slipping away unannounced in the middle of the night. This line is taken from the novel The Kite Runner, published in 2003. Kite Runner was written by Khalid Hosseini, an American writer. Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. This line is taken from Slaughterhouse-Five, a novel published in 1969, written by Kurt Vonnegut. Sometimes I can feel my bones straining under the weight of all the lives I am not living. This line is taken from the novel Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, published in 2005 by Jonathan Safran Foer. And now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. Line is taken from East of Eden, a novel published in 1952 by John Steinbeck. Most people are nice when you finally see them. This line is written by Harper Lee, an American writer. This line is taken from Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird, published in 1960. Yes, I am a dreamer. Or a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. Line is taken from Oscar Wilde's essay The Critic as Artist, published in 1891. Thank you. Hope to see you in the next video.